I have to make this video because I just talked to my brother, and I could feel how I changed his life in just one conversation for the better. I told him the story about Neville Goddard meeting Abdullah, where he finds the beautiful way of assuming the wish fulfilled. And I told him the story and I'll tell you the story one more time now, just for reference. So Neville Goddard, an amazing mysticist, law of attraction teacher. He was born, I think, in 1900s and lived until 1970. And he lived through the Great Depression in New York. He's from Barbados, he's born in Barbados, and he moved to New York on some point. And in New York, he lived through the Great Depression where he was a dancer. And as the dancer, he couldn't find work anymore. They had Broadway back in the day, but because no one had money, no one would go to the theater, and there was no way to pay a dancer. So he had no money, and it was almost Christmas, and he wanted to go for the first time in 12 years to meet his family in Barbados. And he went to his friend Abdullah, who is, I think he's from Arabia, but he was like a philosopher, a rabbi. He was a big spiritual person back in the day, or he had so much knowledge about all the teachings of the law of attraction through his studying of different religions and applying it. And so Neville went to Abdullah and said, Abdullah, I don't have no money. I never had the desire in the last 12 years to go to Barbados. But this time, I want to go to Barbados this Christmas. I have the burning desire to go to Barbados this Christmas and meet my family for Christmas. And Abdullah looks at him and says, you are not going to Barbados. You are in Barbados. And Neville looks at him and is like, I am in Barbados? And Abdullah says, you are in Barbados. You feel the air, the warm ocean breeze on you. You see the palm trees around you. You are not in New York with the high buildings. You walk through the streets of Barbados, and tonight you go to sleep in your mother's bed in Barbados. You go to sleep as if you are in your mother's bed in Barbados, and you are not in New York, you are in Barbados, and you see New York 2,000 miles to the northeast or west of you. I don't know where, I think it was northwest of you. And Neville said, okay. So Neville did that every night for 3 or 4 weeks, and he didn't see a sign of anything. And then he went back to Abdullah because he was like, Abdullah, nothing happened yet, and the last ship goes out in a week. If I don't get that ship, I will not make it to my family this year for Christmas. So Abdullah looked at him and said, who says you are going to Barbados? You are in Barbados. And he turned around on his steps, went in his room and slammed the door. And there was not a sign for Neville to follow him. And then Neville was like, okay, I can't really talk to him. I'm going to keep doing it. He believed Abdullah, And so he slept night after night as if he was in Barbados. And he walked through the street of New York as he was walking in his imagination. Even though there was high-rise buildings, he was walking as if he was walking on the dirt roads with the warm ocean breeze in Barbados. And on the 6th of December, he woke up. The last fair was going on 8th of December. On the 6th of December, he woke up, and under his door was a letter. It was a letter from his brother. And in the letter was $50. And he opened the letter, and the letter said, "My brother, we have never been together on Christmas around the table to eat with the whole family. I talked to the ship company and I told them that when you are in Barbados, I will pay for the ticket. And in this envelope is $50. That's not for the money to pay the ticket or for any tips or food on the fare. That's all taken care of. The money is just for you to buy a suit or anything that you need to get on the ship." So Neville got excited. He took the letter and he ran and went to the ship company. And he read to them the letter. And they were like, "Okay, Mr. Goddard, we can take you to Barbados, but the first 3 days you have to be in storage. You have to go by storage because it's all full, the ship is full, but then after 3 days, you can go first class." So Neville was excited. He said, "Okay, I'll do it." He ran back to Abdullah. He went up into the apartment and said, "Abdullah, I'm going to Barbados. I have to go the first 3 days storage and then I'm going first class. But my brother sent me this letter and I'm going to Barbados." And Abdullah looked at him and said, "Who said you are going to Barbados? You went to Barbados and you went first class all the way." And Neville was like, "I can't make him happy. I can't make this guy happy." So Neville was like, "Okay." And then 2 days later, Neville went to the ship company to board the ship, and they looked at him and said, "Mr. Goddard, we have good news for you. You are going first class all the way because someone canceled." So, and Neville wasn't even thinking about telling Abdullah because he was like, "Abdullah already knows. He gave this to me and he knows I went to Barbados." So he went to Barbados for 3 weeks, had a beautiful first class to his family, and had a beautiful Christmas vacation with them, and then came back first class. And that was just one of the stories that Neville told in his lectures here in LA that influenced and inspired millions of people. And today, I called my brother FaceTimed me from Germany, and I told him the story. And I told it to him, and the last days I also imagined a lot of wishes fulfilled and me being more deserving of all the good things, and just very I don't know how to say it. I just assumed, even for my family, because I'm getting happier, even up there when I was hiking, I felt that yes, and this will also influence my family. So then he called and I told him the story. And after I was done telling the story, I've never seen my brother like this, because I've been telling my brother over years, my dad over years, my family, my mom over years about law of attraction and a lot of good, inspiring things to change them and their life and to help them and to inspire them. But that was like that, in that moment when I told him that story and I told him to assume already the wish fulfilled, he looked at me and was like, that gave me really a push, something like I really, and then he connected it to something in his childhood where like, yes, I can remember that when we believed in our childhood that good things came. And I love that so much because I could feel how it experimentally changed him. It changed him. It inspired him and it changed him. And he said, I'm going to do that too. I'm excited. I'm going to do that too. And that meant so much to me. And I'm just literally making this video right after I talked to him because it inspired me so much. And I love that because I know then the video comes out real. Because even with the video where I made when I did the baseball video where I manifested the baseball, I made it right when I saw the baseball in my bag. When Neville talks about manifesting a baseball and the difference between a tennis ball and a baseball, and I said, I'm going to manifest the baseball. Like a week later, I looked at there was a baseball in my bag, and I was so touched, and right then I made the video. And it touched a lot of people. And I feel like this video will touch a lot of people too, because I made it right after I had the conversation with my brother. And it was so beautiful to like, because when you change, and that's what I want to say, when you change, your outer world will change and also the close people, because you change in a different reality and they will change in a different reality. They can meet you only on your frequency, and when you raise your frequency and they meet you, then their frequency will be raised. And that's so beautiful because that's the way how you change other people's lives. By changing you. Other people are only you pushed out. That's also what Aaron Doughty, he's a great law of attraction YouTuber who I met even at the beginning of his career once, talks about this. You are only, the other people are only you pushed out. And when you change, when you assume that you deserve more in your life, more beautiful things, which I have done recently and I'm keep doing and I'm feeling it, I really feel it. I really feel the change, which was when I was a kid, I get these limitations on me through bullying and through some dramatic stuff that I had to grow up with. Like my mom being an alcoholic, and I had to go to rehab and back, and I was just, and even in her womb, because she went through a dramatic death of her son, and I came right after. I think I took some of that on in the womb, but now through this practice, I clear all it out and I feel more deserving. For the first time, I see life completely differently. And I expect better, and I feel changed. I feel changed in a positive way. And I see that affecting my brother. And that's beautiful. That's all I wanted to share today. That's all I have. I wanted to express that. And I'm going to share this. I'm going to put it on YouTube. And if you guys have any comments, I would love to see them. I would love to hear them. Tell me about your experiences. I read some beautiful comments under the baseball video about Neville Goddard. And I wish you guys the best. I love you guys. Have a fun day. Assume the wish fulfilled. And when you change your assumption about you, then the outer world will change. When you change what you expect and you see yourself as more deserving, then everything around you will react to that.